Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Let's jump into our cosmic weather, see what we're dealing with today. All right, our solar wind, 320.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is quiet today, 0. In the next 24 hours, it could get as high as a 1, which is still in the quiet range. So, all quiet today. Is this a calm before the storm, or is this just the way it's supposed to be at the moment? All right, M-class flare possibility is only 1%. X-class the same. And geomagnetic storm activity, not really much anything there at all. All right, now we move from there to our astrology. Same sun sign, Sagittarius. So we're dealing with the element of fire. Fire is creativity. It's ideas, movement. Fire moves. Just think how fire moves, and just think in your life what that represents. And it all deals with around the idea of ideas, creativity. And then, of course, in the tarot cards, the card that represents the card of Sagittarius is the card of Temperance, and that is Archangel Michael. It is the higher self. It is Jupiter, so it's expansion. So everything about this time, expansion. And our moon sign, which is the underneath today, the unconscious mind, we're right over here. And we are in Virgo. Virgo's an earth sign. So yesterday we were at a void, of course, between the two signs. Now we're completely into one. So Virgo is the hermit. The hermit in tarot cards is the one who walks the path alone, shining a light for others to see, because the hermit has gone and learned the lessons through being patient. So within the idea of the practicality of the earth, of Virgo, comes the idea of patience. The practicality of knowing the right timing for things and being patient enough to wait. Virgo also is an analyzer, so a lot of analysis. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Now if we move over to our moon phase, we have third quarter, 50% of the way full, on our way down. So next week we'll be at the new moon. And on the Mayan Oracle, we're at a 10-tone day. 10 is called the planetary tone of manifestation. The kin for today is the human, which is all about free will. And our guide for today is the sun, all about enlightenment. So we've got a phrase today: I perfect in order to influence, producing wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of universal fire. And we could see that we are a galactic activation portal day here, because we are in synchronicity with this little pattern going on here. How the energy moves itself out. It connects here, and all right. And then we're going to continue on. Next galactic activation portal day will be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. All right. On the Gregorian calendar, today is the 6th of December, 2012. All right, so all this week I've been playing for you information from Pleiadian sources. Barbara Marciniak has been the last couple days. I'm going to do some more stuff with Barbara today, because she has been around doing the channeling of the Pleiadians for quite some time. And her message, she has a lot of important information that's been coming through. So this is a 26-minute piece. I'm only going to play 10 minutes of it here, and I've kind of jumped ahead from the intro just to get right into it. So check it out, watch the whole thing, but this is a really good piece as well, and very pertinent to what we are going through. So enjoy.
There are multitudes of cultures and societies that exist throughout the vastness of space. and these societies and cultures have been on and off this planet from the very beginning. It is not just that we, the Pleiadians, have come to assist. We are only one grouping from one star system. There are many who have journeyed here for many reasons. The majority of the extraterrestrials are here for your upliftment, though there are also those who are here for other reasons. We give our version of things only to bring you into higher consciousness. We do not wish to say that this version and only this version is how it is. This whole teaching is designed with a great purpose in mind, and the stories that we tell you are set up to take you to a higher plane of consciousness. That is our intention. You are magnificent beings, members of the family of light, and you come to Earth at this time on assignment to create a shift, to make a change, to assist in the transition. You were told before you came here that there would be much assistance and that at different junctures of your development, different entities would present themselves upon the planet in different capacities to trigger you, fire you up, and remind you, not to do it for you. We are one of those triggers, a catalyst. When you hear the name Pleiadians, you feel a connection because we are assisting you in bringing your own information, your own knowing forward. You yourself chose to be here. You are on assignment to bring memory forward and to bring the value of human existence back to the forefront of creation. You are needed. You have been in training for this assignment for lifetimes, and you did not come unprepared. All that you need to know now is inside of you, and it is your task to remember your training. This is not a lifetime when you are going to be taught new information. As we said before, this is the lifetime when you are going to remember what you already know, and we are just here to remind you of it. That is part of our assignment. Humanity is an experiment. Humanity has been designed, as has just about everything else that exists within creation. Prime Creator began experimenting with creation a long time ago in this universe for the purpose of greater self-exploration, self-gratification, and self-expression. Prime Creator brought energies and essences of life, extensions of itself, into this universe, and endowed those extensions with the gifts that it had. Prime Creator said to these extensions of itself, "Go out and create and bring all things back to me." Earth was a beautiful place, located on the fringes of one of the galactic systems and easily reached from other galaxies. It was close to many way portals, the highways that exist for energies to travel throughout space. Some of the creator gods were master geneticists. The master geneticists designed various species, some human, some animal, by playing with the varieties of DNA that the sentient civilizations contributed to make Earth into this exchange center of information, this light center, this living library. The original planners of Earth were members of the family of light, beings who worked for and were associated with an aspect of consciousness called light. They designed a place where galaxies would contribute their information and where all would be able to participate and share their specific knowledge. Earth was to be a cosmic library, a place of incredible beauty that experimented with how information could be stored through frequencies and through the genetic process. The project of the living library on Earth was eventually fought over. During Earth's early history, there were wars in space for ownership of this planet. Skirmishes took place, and Earth became a place of duality. Certain creator gods who had the right to do whatever they wanted, because Earth is a free will zone, came in and took over. When this skirmish occurred, a certain group of entities fought in space and won the territory of Earth. These new owners did not want the native Earth species, the humans, to be informed of what took place. Uninformed, the species would be easier to control. That is why light is information and darkness is lack of information. These entities beat out light, and Earth became their territory. These new owners who came here 300,000 years ago are the magnificent beings spoken of in your Bible, in the Babylonian and Sumerian tablets, and in texts all over the world. They came to Earth and rearranged the native human species. They rearranged your DNA in order to have you broadcast within a certain limited frequency band whose frequency could feed them and keep them in power. They worked in their laboratories and created versions of humans with a different DNA, the two-stranded double helix DNA. The original DNA pattern was left within the human cells, yet it was not functional. It was split apart, unplugged. We, as Pleiadians, came back through time into what would perhaps be called our past. We came back in order to share a frequency with you, a frequency that each one of you has agreed to carry on this planet in order to change the DNA of the rearranged human race. Earth is assisting, in its own way, the evolution of the universe. It is where the plan begins to blossom, and what happens on Earth is going to affect many, many worlds. The creator gods who have been ruling this planet had the ability to become physical, though mostly they exist in other dimensions. They keep Earth in a certain vibrational frequency while they create emotional trauma to nourish themselves. There are some beings who honor life before everything else, and there are also beings who do not honor life and do not understand their connection to it. Who are these beings who came in and rent asunder the original plans for Earth? Who are these space beings we sometimes refer to as the dark T-shirts? These space beings are part human and part reptilian. We call them the Lizzies because we like to make things a little less emotional and a little humorous so that you don't take them so seriously and get so upset. We are not here to frighten you. We are here to inform you. They have fed off your emotions. One of the big secrets that has been kept from you as a species is the richness and wealth that accompanies emotion. You have been steered away from exploring emotion because through emotion you can figure things out. Your emotions connect you with the spiritual body. The spiritual body, of course, is non-physical, existing on the multidimensional sphere. Why are we telling you all this? Why do you need to know it? You need to know it because the Lizzie reality is re-entering and merging with your dimension. As you awaken to your history, you will begin to open your ancient eyes. These are the eyes of Horus, which see not through the eyes of a human being, but from the point of view of a god. They see the connectedness and purpose of all things, for the ancient eyes are able to see into many realities and to connect the whole picture, the whole history. All of this is to be felt. Allow your brain cells to click into being without your rational conscious mind wanting to define things down to the most minute detail. This experience involves raising a feeling inside yourself, and then one day, at one moment, in one afternoon, having an overwhelming sense of knowing. Having a composition of 1,000 pages long come alive in 5 seconds of divine ecstasy.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. All right, I've got 5 stories here today. Story number 1. This was above Brooklyn, New York on the 3rd. This was new footage of a strange bright object hovering in the night sky above Vanderbilt Avenue in Brooklyn on Monday the 3rd. All right, you see the thing buzzing around there right here? It's moving pretty good. Moving back and forth, kind of erratic how it's moving. All right, so if you were in Brooklyn, maybe you saw this. Very interesting. All right, the round fireball orb. We've seen those, right? Okay, moving from Brooklyn, New York, we're going to go over to Texas, Longview, Texas, on the 4th. And this looks like a pretty good size object. Looks like all one object, doesn't it? Like this might be the middle lights, the 2 sides here. So we got some video. It says, I watch the sky all the time due to the high rate of UFO activity, so I saw this on my nightly watch and finally got it on tape. Being low enough. The sound is removed because of my cousin's request not to be in it. Alright. Alright, let's see here. There we go. We got a little bit of the it's like a 3-minute long video. Just forwarding. Here we go. Alright, now that's pretty interesting. Okay. So, what do you think? Think that one's real? I think that one's very interesting. Alright, the link's available. You can check it out, see what you think. That was over Longview, Texas. Then we have over Grand Blanc, Michigan. We have 2 linked UFOs. Okay, let's, there we go right there. Alright, very interesting light. See, more and more people are seeing these all around the country. These just strange lights. So, disclosure is happening. Might not be happening from the government, but it's definitely happening. They are showing themselves. Okay. We're going to move from there over to France. This is Bugarach, France. This is the mountain that all these folks in France and people from around the world are going to be gathering at because they believe that there are ships going to be landing on this mountain, saving people from the planet. So there's been a lot of sightings there, as you recall. Here we go. Okay, the same type. We've seen these same types over there, these whitish ones. Alright, question that's come up oftentimes, if you recall, is a base that might be over at this mountain here. Very interesting. Alright, so check the video out, see what you think. And very last piece here, this is about a online ufology class going to be taught by Richard Dolan. Richard is very, very well versed in the field. I've gotten to know him through the various conferences and so on. And so this is a great opportunity to really learn with an expert. Says the International Metaphysical University offers an online ufology class taught by noted UFO expert Richard Dolan. They're proud to, one of the world's leading UFO researchers and historians. Richard Dolan is offering something never seen before in any academic setting, anywhere else in the world. A complete and fresh study of the entire UFO phenomenon. Through a series of 12 riveting lectures, Richard Dolan provides up-to-date information and analysis relating to the full history of UFOs from ancient times to our own era, focusing on the most significant and instructive cases. The political issues, such as how the government and the military intelligence communities deal with UFOs. The philosophical and investigative problems brought about by UFOs, including how ordinary objects and events might fool us and how they differ from true UFOs. The science behind UFOs, from propulsion technologies to space travel. The beings behind the phenomena. So this is quite a look into the future. So there's quite a good agenda here. And the website link is available here. For more information, right here's the link, intermetu.com, and then you can go from there. There's a variety of other links, faculty-UFO, Richard Dolan, Intro to Ufology. Phone number is on it here as well. So check it out, and it's a very good opportunity there to learn some ufology from Richard Dolan. All right, I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
All right, continuing on. So these next two stories have to do with victories. Victories of the people. Very important that the people have victories. This first one has to do with the NDAA and the bill that passed in the Michigan House. Lansing, Michigan, dated today or yesterday, the Michigan House of Representatives unanimously voted in favor of House Bill 5768 today. Representative Tom McMillan, who introduced the bill, showed his excitement for its passage and his expectations for the state Senate. My bill opposing NDAA's indefinite detention and taking away due process and prohibiting Michigan government from participating passed the House today on to the state Senate. Due to support from a wide coalition of grassroots activists from across the political spectrum, the bill passed unanimously. The final vote was 107-0. So very good, very good. The Obama administration goes on to say, has aggressively argued that in court that the executive branch has the power. The bill states in part that no agency of this state, no political subdivision of this state, no employee of an agency of this state or political subdivision of the state acting in his or her official capacity, and no member of the Michigan National Guard on official state duty shall aid an agency of the armed forces of the United States in any investigation, prosecution, detention, or person pursuant to Section 1021 of the National Defense Authorization Act. So that's a big victory. That is a big victory. A lot of folks out there still don't understand the importance of this bill, but in Michigan, they've taken it very serious out there. So very good. Very good. Good job, Michigan. Way to go. All right. Here's another one. Elected officials serve a legal notice. Obama criminally unfit to hold office. So this is taking place in Orange County, California. And it... a little bit of their notice from Michael Lerman says, you are herein lawfully notified that there are over 4 active treason complaints before the U.S. attorneys and over 4 unanswered citizen grand jury indictments and dozens of lawsuits, both state and federal, that Obama et al. Has obstructed and defaulted on regarding ineligibility, fraud, and other criminal acts. Until Congress lawfully addresses those charges and indictments regard this subject matter, Obama is constitutionally and criminally unfit to be voted on, and you, the electors, are demanded not to vote in this manner until this matter is redressed either by Congress or proper court. So we'll see where this goes, but just to show that there is still a battle going on in this arena. Okay, now moving from here, let's take a look at our 3-minute news here. These are pretty good little news clips, these 3-minute news. So, here we go.
Yesterday, but did not catch. Good morning, folks. Starting with something I missed, or rather misjudged. I noticed this instability on the southeastern limb yesterday, but did not catch the finale as the northeastern part of the erupting filament shot sideways to include Earth in the impact zone tomorrow night or Saturday. Also, a little bit of rough news. Hyper Report's YouTube channel is down. You can still go see Scott at hyperreport.org. For those with good eyes, time, and a potential interest in the electric universe, perhaps you noticed this little sun-diving comet, and I do mean little. To catch these, you need to watch the C2 and C3 very carefully, and while you're at it, notice how CMEs often occur as these take their last ride. This comes via the Environmental Visualization Lab at NOAA. It is the Arctic temperature anomaly, but remember not to get fooled into thinking it's just global warming, rather than a climate change at both extremes. The Yukon Territory was rocking a bit yesterday, along with the Queens Island region, which saw the 7.7 earlier this fall. Iran also saw the largest quake since the day nearly 500 people died a few months ago in that 6.3. This is BOFA from space. Impressive. Over 300 dead, over 400 missing, and landslides still have some zones cut off. They haven't tallied those at all. I thought the major northern Euro cold was days away, but I was wrong. The clouds did let the cold sweep in behind them and produced a significant amount of snow in Sweden and the surrounding areas. Major severe weather down under as they surveyed the wind damage from earlier. New Zealand got it a little bit worse. Multiple tornadoes dropped, multiple casualties. We do have more expected on the way. Please pay attention to local warnings down there. A couple flights canceled due to rain, and about 200 people had to spend an extra night in Hawaii. Torturous, I'm sure. Let's zoom in about 200 miles west of Wichita. This is the center of a deep extended low, yanking warm air north in a polar opposite fashion to yesterday's lows at the coasts, and cold air flying down the breadbasket. In fact, the temperature delta shows the exact opposite temperature swings from yesterday. The low in the center is another to have pinched off the North Pacific low, and it is still there, stealing moisture from cells halfway across the Pacific, smashing it into colder, drier air. You get things like asinine rain totals in the northwest and a snowstorm in Canada. Please, low, go away. Solar wind density in orange, slightly above normal, but nothing compared to the last few days. Speed in the yellow is dropping as well. There is no disturbance of our magnetic shield. The plasma is insufficient to induce significant resonance and currents and has been unable to penetrate our shields. Primary Earth-facing solar feature is a solar filament eruption off the southern hemisphere here. This is a weak CME, and it is very unlikely that it will be significant. I'm very curious about this darker region in the middle. If that grows into a coronal hole, we may need a small quake watch. After the AIA 193 here, I'll leave you with a 3-year plot of plant stress. Eyes open, no fear. It's 6:25 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
All right. So there you go. Something more to pay attention to. All right. This story here this is one of these weird stories because December 21st, there's a lot of different activity that's going to be taking place on that day. And one of those things, we talked about this last week, this story. One of these things is this test that they're going to be doing with the Hadron Collider. Okay. Here at Categoris, we are very much concerned with that which the brighter minds of this world do to occupy themselves. Each of us is majoring in or have majored in science in college, chemistry, electrical engineering, but not at least political science. And a project that I have personally kept close watch over is CERN's Large Hadron Collider. This year I've spent a great deal of time studying one of the building blocks of the physical world, quantum mechanics, only to find that there are numerous unexplained phenomena. Apparently a number of these answers are in the Large Hadron Collider. Here's a quick synopsis of what CERN is and what the Large Hadron Collider does. CERN stands for the Organization of European pour la Recherche Nucléaire, which translates to European Organization for Nuclear Research. It's an international organization that leads the world in laboratory particle physics research. It is also the proud owner of the most badass particle accelerator to date, the Large Hadron Collider. It is 17 miles long and costs 7.5 billion euros to construct. One of its main purposes is to discover the Higgs boson particle, which is pretty much the final missing link in the standard model of particle physics. Aside from that, it is theoretically capable of forming particles of infinite density and chain reaction properties, also known as strange matter. To this day, the Higgs boson is still theoretical, and the Large Hadron Collider has faced many experiments and complications since its induction in 2008. A large number of people believe that the experiments done at CERN could have catastrophic side effects, such as creating a black hole here on Earth. This year, CERN is beginning another set of experiments in hopes of getting much closer to completing the standard model. Scientists at CERN have announced test dates for the rest of the year, as well as some curious dates can be found on the upcoming schedule, starting Monday, December 17th, 2012, and going through Friday, December 21st. CERN will be launching and running a series of collisions which are predicted to break records in high-voltage collisions already set by the Large Hadron Collider. With these experiments, the scientists are hoping to create atomic reactions that would provide further information about antimatter and the Big Bang. The test set for the week of the 17th to the 21st, 2012 is the final test before the Large Hadron Collider will be shut down operations for upgrades and will resume operation in 2014, assuming something doesn't go wrong. In the minds of some of the scientists, terribly right, which causes the end of the world. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Let us know what you think. CERN is guilty of self-fulfilling prophecy. Let us know what you think. Is CERN guilty of self-fulfilling prophecy of destruction? Okay. So, very interesting that we have all of these prophecy, and now here at the end of this time, that they're going to be doing an experiment on that date to gather. So what they're trying to obviously do is capture whatever energy is going through to give it a boost, to help them push on through, break on through to the other side. So, could be interesting. So, when people out there in the world say, oh, nothing's going to happen on December 21st, the question to ask them is exactly what do they mean by nothing is going to happen? Because on that day, there is an alignment that will be taking place. The planets are forming an alignment. We will be in line with the center of the galaxy, our planet, our sun. There's going to be millions of people around the world aware of this. There's going to be an experiment taking place at the Hadron Collider. I mean, when people say nothing is going to happen on that date, I don't think that they know. I think what people refer to is there's been so much propaganda put out that this is the end of the world that that's what people talk about. So, you know, you talk to people out there. You're having conversations. Is that what you're finding? That when you talk to others, their initial thought about 2012, if they're not studying the subject, is what they know in the movies, right? So when you sit down and try to have a conversation with others, it can be frustrating if that's all that they know. But as we see, there's a lot going on that day. So the idea of all of us knowing during this time is to be able to share this with others, like that very first video said. We are here as light bearers, family of light. We are here to help spread this information because as the time comes, there's a lot of folks on this planet who aren't going to know what's going on. They're not paying attention to this, and the little they do know of this is about the movie and all the doom and gloom. But people need to be aware of the positive stuff, about the changes and things like this. So one of the other things that's going on right here, and this is pretty cool, ETs, EDs reveal more vital details on Earth stabilization. Extraterrestrials and extra-dimensionals of the liberation forces have recently provided me a wealth of new details regarding their program to ease Earth through a transition to fourth dimension. This information comes both directly and indirectly through the ETs and EDs of the Liberation Force and is only briefly sourced through many sensitive terrestrial contacts. Goes on to say, since I have published my first outstanding post on the amazing mind-boggling Earth stabilization effort of the ETs and EDs and the mighty planetary stabilization ships, each one at each pole used to stabilize Earth, I have received many answers to the questions which came pelting me via comments. Therefore, I've elected to break format and handle some of as a question and answer. I believe this will help clarify on what meter the deluge of stunning information. All right, so it says approximately, let's see, how long have the PSS of the ETs been in place? Approximately 5 years. Does the Earth military know? He goes, yes, some parts are distantly aware. Why don't the reptoids attack the PSS? They can't be missed. Says they are here, 1 PSS each pole. So go on, and you could see throughout the course of it, a plan is in place to help protect the Earth. Okay? So this is pretty. Reason I bring this up is because these forums and blogs are places where you're going to find all kind of information that might not be out there, making the news in some ways, because the ETs are channeling messages down to lots of beings on the planet. And so when you go and you find out this information, you find out that it comes from a variety of sources, but it all is pretty much saying the same thing. So this is something else that's going on. So if people say there's nothing going on, well, yeah, there is. Point them to the videos of the UFOs in the sun. There's a lot of those. Things have really perked up in that area. All right? So moving along from there, before we get into our meditation and close things out for the day, this piece is a piece on Barbara Marciniak, an interview. And since I've been playing stuff about Barbara, figured this might be a good way to give you a little more information about her and see directly who she is. There we go.
What I share with you today, maybe it plants some idea inside of you, maybe it registers someplace with something that you already know, that you're impulsed to awaken in yourself, and maybe you're afraid, maybe you don't understand it, maybe you're concerned that you'll change too much. I believe in change, and I believe that the survival of the species and the transformation of the planet involves tremendous change. The message that the Pleiadians give is one of understanding the isolation that the human species has been locked within. They call the present version of the human species modern man, saying that basically we spring from an experiment that began about 500,000 years ago, and that the gods that created us are extraterrestrial beings who in reality have forgot their own gods, and these extraterrestrial beings are going through their own process of change at this time, and because they created us, because we're a part of how they learn, we're involved and they're involved in this time of coming together. What the Pleiadians have taught me is that this coming together, this collapsing of time, this merging of consciousness that's taking place between all species on the earth plane, has to do with something that is going to create, let me see how I can put it, a new geometric thought form, a new geometry of being that's literally going to move through our universe and change the entire course of our universe. They have told me and told the people that they speak to that the human species genetically has very different organizational structure than we've been led to believe. They said that the evolving human, the human that will emerge on this planet, will have 12 strands of genetic material, and these 12 strands of DNA will activate within the human full brain capacity. This is something that is quite a lot to consider, and yet I can say in the last few years of working with these energies that the process has begun to take place inside of me. I've changed. I have abilities that I did not have before. I have understandings that I never had before, and I have assistance that's based on non-physical presence that I know is always with me. And I feel that the message I'm led to share with you is that these beings are around all of us, and that if you would relax and if you reconsider who you are, you can open to this very wonderful relationship that's really a relationship with another form of yourself.
All right, so that's who We've been hearing the books that she's been channeling, so that's Barbara, if you didn't know who she is or was. All right, so as you can tell, we've got a lot that is coming into our lives. And I think it's, as long as we keep preparing ourselves for the moment of change, we can see something is going on. Now, I think one of the challenges we're going to have with this season is there's so much going on and so much distraction that a lot of folks aren't going to necessarily be paying attention to it, the skeptics. So there's going to be a lot of that attitude that's out there. And this is such a positive experience. The idea is to raise ourselves above that. I think we really need to find a way to be patient with the skeptics during this time, because a skeptic is going to say nothing's going to happen. But as we know, there's a variety of things that are happening on that day. Any of one of those things that are going on could have some sort of a consequence. So our ancestors left us this information for some reason, and I don't think they said get all the way up to 15 days before and then just let the skeptics run the show. I don't think that was the plan. I think the plan is to use our discernment, our sense of discernment, to understand what is going on and work to remember what it is we're here to do, because now is the time. Now is the activation for all of those who are here. So anyway, things to consider. I know I'm rambling, but hey. All right, let's get to our meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes. Relax. Take a deep breath. And exhale. So let's imagine here we are standing on the shore looking at a river in front of us. And on the other side of the shore, you see there's a blanket. And it's set out for a little picnic, place to relax. But in order to get to the other side, we need to cross the river. And we look, and there aren't any bridges. And the river represents the change in the flow of energy. And as we step forward into the river, we feel the wetness of the water and instantly know that the energy is changed. And we feel the water rushing past us. And as we slowly cross from one side to the other, the rushing water almost pushes you down the river. And as you stand fearlessly, you allow the water just to pass through, and this energy to pass through your body, and your body becomes used to it until you're able to walk across to the other side without any problem. And you get to the other side, and you sit down, and you contemplate the experience, and you realize that in life there are many surges of energy that are coming into our lives. And when we stop and contemplate the processing that is taking place, we allow ourselves to adjust to the increase of energy and take that step to the next level. And as we contemplate all this, we realize how easy it is. And getting started, taking that first step is the biggest challenge. For oftentimes, that first step is filled with fear. But if we think of the opportunities and the love, the fear dissipates. So let's imagine ourselves now standing. and leaping up into the sky. And as we do, we fly. And as we fly over the land, looking down, we realize that the possibilities of life exist. And the opportunity to fly, to raise our consciousness to another higher perspective, comes before us. And all we need to do is pay attention and allow ourselves to adjust to the energy that is filling our lives. So as we contemplate all these ideas through the course of this day, let us bring our conscious mind back to where we are, while our unconscious continues to remember. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. All right. Go ahead and open your eyes. And there you have it. So thanks for being here. We're getting closer and closer to the beginning of a new cycle. So it's very exciting what's going on. So let's enjoy the ride. Let's enjoy the process. Keep looking to the sky, because we never know what we're going to see on a day-to-day basis. I'll be back tomorrow with more news information. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.